On 27 February 2014, Russian troops invaded Ukraine's autonomous Republic of Crimea.
He's just testing the wall. Can we withstand or we just let it go?
Really, they are scaring people, making crosses on Tatars' houses like it was in 1944. I love Russian people, Russian culture, Russian art, Russian ballet, Russian music. I don't like Russian authorities.
Saygılı Kırım-Tatar vatandaşlarımız, siz bir o'zingiz degilsiniz.
One of my father's neighbor is Russian, the second one is Ukrainian. They will protect their houses together.
Time has come to act with dignity and integrity. You are called to honor your non-proliferation promises by 1. Protecting Ukraine's economic security through the freezing of assets of corrupt Russian and Ukrainian officials. 2. Employing available asset recovery mechanisms to return the billions of dollars which have been illegally siphoned out of Ukraine. 3. Protecting Ukraine's territorial integrity by removing Russian troops from Ukraine. 4. Restoring Ukraine's territorial sovereignty to secure international peace. The current conflict is the direct result of Russian President Vladimir Putin's geopolitical strategy. The government of the Russian Federation has acted in bad faith and provoked an international crisis, directly challenging a neighbor's sovereignty. Consequently, the Russian Federation must be recognized as a party to the dispute taking place in Ukraine.
Asking you to do everything within your capacity to live up to your state's Budapest Memorandum obligations. You cannot take the third largest nuclear arsenal in the world and promise to protect the territorial integrity and do nothing because of corrupt laundered money that may or may not be inside of the European financial system. We also ask you to recognize the Russian Federation as not only an aggressor, but as a party to the dispute, and do everything to employ United Nations mechanisms to remove Russia's voting privileges in accordance with Article 23, subsection 7, I believe, of the UN Charter. Most of us are Canadian, but we have members of Tatar representation, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Polish people are here, Finland is represented. many other communities, because this is a world issue.
I get your message, of course, and I will transmit it to my government in Paris. As you know, France wasn't one of the signatories of the Budapest Memorandum, but of course we are absolutely concerned.
I will send you, with your permission, a copy of France's individual statement that it made to the Budapest Memorandum. As the US and UK created it and signed it, France and China made individual statements, and France did promise to protect Ukraine's territorial integrity. I also ask you to consider our plea in the open letter.
Thank you very much.
Viva la France! Viva Ukraine! Please help Ukraine!
Polish-Canadian Ottawa community. What would be your comment in terms of European integrity of the crisis and how you see the future of the Europe?
France is just now acting at different levels, considering, of course, the security, the global security in Europe. As a bilateral level, we have some direct links with the new Ukrainian government. We have also, it's clear, direct links with the Russian government. We are also acting at the European level, EU, as it was the case last Thursday during the meeting in Brussels of all chiefs of state and government. Important decisions were taken at that occasion. Being a full member of the Security Council, permanent member of the Security Council, we are really acting. My colleague, the ambassador in New York, is really acting for trying to keep on board every members of the United Nations, expressing our concern towards Ukraine. We are all concerned, and France is specifically concerned, considering itself as a friend of Ukraine, but also taking into account the points of view expressed by Russia.
Putin is taking all the control and action, and European Union, instead of responding with action, is taking only passive steps, resolutions, nothing more.
Again, I just want to mention the fact that we are all together, European Union, working together, and specifically with our Polish friends and partners to assess the situation and to express, as we did that Thursday evening, a global and common European position.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How France can help us to recognize us like as a native people of Crimea.
Last Thursday, that's the last occasion we mentioned and explained our position, and of course taking into account the specific situation of the Tatar community in Crimea.
As a Russian-speaking Ukrainian, I would like to add that Putin is not defending my position in any way. There are a lot of different peaceful ways to defend the position, but he never cared. He never cared about it. So, but now he wants to use this as to justify his invasion and to send unmarked military forces with weapons that has only a Russian army. I'm just making fools from all ourselves. He's just testing the wall. Can we withstand, or we just let it go? Like wall give up on Czechoslovakia in 1938. Thought, okay, Hitler over. So we don't want to get another Hitler around.
The Russian Federation has orchestrated a call for an illegal referendum in Crimea. The referendum project contravenes numerous national and international laws. These unlawful acts are so callous that calls have been made for an international criminal tribunal to be opened against Vladimir Putin and the Russian Federation before the International Court of Justice in The Hague. The Budapest guarantors have already failed their obligations towards Belarus and Kazakhstan, who also gave up their nuclear arms. This has allowed the Russian Federation to unlawfully expand its geopolitical power by exerting undue socio-political, economic, and energy pressure against them. The dire ramifications for democracy are evident. At this critical time, when non-proliferation negotiations are taking place in Iran and North Korea, Budapest Memorandum signatories have the opportunity and responsibility to prove to the international community that non-proliferation guarantees have meaning. It is the obligation of the UK and USA, together with France and China, to stop the Russian Federation from abusing its power. as foreign advisor to the Commission, specialized in international security relations and the manner in which political criminal relations are combined with psychological warfare to cause war, I assure you that documented evidence exists showing beyond a reasonable doubt that the separatist actions occurring today in Crimea are not a chance occurrence. The Russian military presence in Ukraine is not an innocent military exercise. Russia has openly subjected Ukraine to economic and socio-political warfare. Now it is threatening Ukraine's territorial integrity with armed force. It is of the utmost importance that the other guarantors do not fail Ukraine by flouting their own obligations under the Budapest Memorandum. As of 9 March 2014, more than 30,000 armed Russian Federation military personnel have invaded Ukrainian territory. They are wreaking havoc in Ukraine and have planted mines to create artificial borders around Crimea. Simultaneously,
hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Putin! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Putin! Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine! Hands off Ukraine!
It is with the highest regard and urgency that I, Dr. L. Roslycky, Black Sea Security Specialist and Foreign Advisor to the Public Commission for the Investigation and Prevention of Human Rights Abuses in Ukraine, on behalf of Euromaidan Ottawa, appeal to you to take immediate action aimed at restoring peace, stability, and the rule of law in Ukraine. On 27 February 2014, Russian troops invaded Ukraine's autonomous Republic of Crimea. The United States, the Russian Federation, and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland guaranteed to protect and prevent Ukraine from economic warfare and to protect its territorial integrity. Later, France and China also made individual guarantees. They did so in the pursuit of international peace. Ukraine trusted that these states would honor their obligations and gave up a nuclear arsenal larger than that of the UK, USA, and France combined. The Russian Federation acquired a significant part of this nuclear arsenal. Today, it is an aggressor against Ukraine, grossly violating its obligations under the Budapest Memorandum and the Community of Nations. The Russian Federation has orchestrated a call for an illegal referendum in Crimea. The referendum project contravenes numerous national and international laws. These unlawful acts are so callous that calls have been made for an international criminal tribunal to be opened against Vladimir Putin and the Russian Federation before the International Court of Justice in The Hague. The Budapest guarantors have already failed their obligations towards Belarus and Kazakhstan, who also gave up their nuclear arms. This has allowed the Russian Federation to unlawfully expand its geopolitical power by exerting undue socio-political, economic, and energy pressure against them. The situation in Ukraine is a direct result of the post-Soviet political criminal network working in tandem with the Russian Federation's imperialist geopolitical strategy.
USA, keep your promise. USA, keep your promise. USA, keep your promise. USA, keep your promise. Keep your promise. Keep your promise.
In front of us, representative from Crimea, living in Canada.
My name is Rustem Irsay. Yes, I'm Canadian citizen, and this is my wife, Elvira. Yes, and we live in Toronto. We are a Crimean-Tatar community in Toronto. Just yesterday, I told my father, he's already 75 and my mother 74. I told them and told my brother maybe they should send my father and mother, our relatives, here. And my father said, no way, I won't go. I want to be here. I want to be in my country. This is my country. This is Crimea. He was deported by Stalin in 1944. He was only 1 year old. Older people, they remember terrible night 1944 when all population was deported to Asia, to Uzbekistan, and half population died.
What was your reaction when you heard that the history is repeating itself?
We were supporting Maidan from beginning. Our community were staying together in front of Ukrainian embassy in Toronto, and then after just we I don't know how come we had the feeling before Russia moved their forces. There are video actually in YouTube, and we sent it to Crimea, to our national TV ITR. We went with my wife and our members with the banner, Russia hands off Crimea.
Before it happened.
Before it happened, and in a week it happened. Yeah, and yes, we are protesting almost every day in front of Russian embassy. We are trying to communicate with all communities, asking to help us, to join us, because all this action against of the international law. Give us more power in Crimea. Give us piece of place in parliament. Give us to protect our culture, protect our people, protect all our movements to be free. We have been living there 25 years after we came to Crimea from Uzbekistan, after we could, because Soviet collapsed and we could go. And we were fighting peacefully 55 years in Uzbekistan. And after we came, 25 years we are trying to make multicultural society in Crimea. We are together with Russian population. We are together with Ukrainian. One of my father's neighbor is Russian, the second one is Ukrainian. They are very big friends. If something happens, they will protect their houses together. There are a lot of people now, criminal people, I don't know, they call them self-defense, but they are bullying people. Really, they are scaring people.
They are provoking.
Making crosses on Tatars' houses like it was in 1944.
We live in Canada. There is many nations which coexist in the peaceful way. You keep your culture, I keep my culture. We respect that we are Canadian citizens. We don't fight each other. Why some nations over there, they could not coexist in the peaceful way?
Yeah, I think because it's because of power, because of authorities, because of some people, not nation, not exactly. People, Russian people. I love Russia very well. Yes, but my wife can tell. I'm really pro-Russian. I don't like Russian authorities. I don't like Russian oligarchs. I don't like Russian president. I love Russian people, Russian culture, Russian art, Russian ballet, Russian music. We are actually Russian speakers. I speak Russian language better than I speak my own Tatar language, because our Tatar language wasn't supported 55 years. We didn't have our TV, we didn't have our books, we didn't have our newspapers.
In 2008, there was a similar story in Georgia.
Yeah.
And at that time it was our President Lech Kaczynski was alive. And he went to Georgia, he organized support, solidarity from several presidents, and he said in 2008, we have to stand together, because if not, first is Georgia, second is Ukraine, next would be Baltic republics, and next maybe would be Poland.
Yes.
So there is no other solution, we have to stand together.
Why some authorities who can make movements, they are like waiting for something, not pushing. We are in front of US embassy. I think US can do more, and also European Union. If all of us, Tatars, Ukrainian, Russian in Russia, who are very intelligent, very nice people who understand what is happening now, they go for protests, they go to jail, but they go. And if we stay together, if we say our authorities, our rulers, so we want their support, and we want them to act by democratic laws, then we won.
Saygılı Kırım Tatar vatandaşlarımız, siz bir o'zingiz degilsiniz. Biz uzakta olsamız da, biz beraberlikte sizge yardım yapamız. İnşallah galip olup çıkarımız. Kırım ve Ukrayna birlik olsun. İnşallah birlikte oluruz. İnşallah.
Save Ukraine! Save Ukraine! Stop Putin! Save Ukraine! Stop Putin! Save Ukraine! Stop Putin! Save Ukraine! Stop Putin! Save Ukraine! Save Ukraine! Stop Putin! Save Ukraine! Stop Putin! Save Ukraine! Stop Putin! Save Ukraine! Stop Putin! Save Ukraine! Our government, Crimean-Tatar Majlis, together with Ukrainian government, against puppet government, pro-Russian government in Crimea. Thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you very much for protecting us from imperialistic Russia. And today I want to say US, I want to say European Union and all world to act more. Crimea is Ukraine! Crimea is Ukraine! Crimea is Ukraine!
Greetings from the Hungarian community of Ottawa. We stand in full solidarity. I'm also from Transylvania. We are also in full solidarity. Colors almost match your colors, so we're even closer than we think.
Thank you! Thank you!
Our Polish friends, say hi to Poland! Good day, the Polish community from Ottawa and from all across the countries. With you, Karina. We are with you. You remember when it was the Smolensk crash? This is how it started. The entire world was watching and didn't do anything. And now we have the Crimea and Ukrainian crisis. If they don't do anything, it will be more and more and more. We need to be all in solidarity. We are one nation of the free people.
Усміхнеться доля, душу тіло ми положим за нашу свободу. Hands up, Ukraine! Hands up, Ukraine! Hands up,